Finding affordable housing in any country that you're looking to move in can be a challenge. And we've had multiple people reach out to us asking for help or guidance in finding some sort of affordable housing, be it looking for a rental or be it looking for a house purchase or a property purchase for that matter. And Serbia, as it's getting more and more popular, are starting to see some challenges. However, in this video, I'm going to share some secrets as to finding affordable housing in Serbia. Now, affordable housing can be classified into two sections, and by no means is this video legal advice when it comes to your specific situation. We help everybody on a case by case basis, and so this video is not supposed to be for your case specifically, but as a guideline as to what to look for in your specific situation. Now, we're going to first start with rentals, which is what most people look for when they're looking to relocate to Serbia, either by setting up a business here, looking to get work, employment, whatever it might be, or just simply visiting. And one of the things that people say is that it's hard to find affordable rentals in Serbia, and that can be depending on the platform that you're using. Now, the first one that I'd like to touch on is that you need to avoid Western platforms such as Airbnbs and bookings.com. Those two platforms are geared towards tourists specifically, and most of the time hold a higher price point than if you're looking to find a long-term rental, 6+ months or something in that matter, or if you're looking for a lease agreement, which most of the clients will need if they're looking to set up a residency here in Serbia. And that's something we do here at Relocation Serbia, even when it comes to setting up your business or whatever that matter might be. Now, some of the platforms that you can use when it comes to finding short-term rentals or even properties for that matter are Halo Oglasi, Serbia Info, or Facebook Marketplace. But there's a huge catch when it comes to these platforms is that they are all listed in the Serbian language. Now, if you are on Facebook Marketplace, you can obviously click the see translation button if you're coming in from another country and see what the translation is. However, you have to also digest that and ask multiple questions when it comes to your specific situation. Does it come furnished? Does it come with pets being allowed? Does it come with utilities included? So on and so forth. The other thing that I'd like to touch on real quick is that timing is everything. Many clients look to come to Serbia and then find a place while they're holding an Airbnb. However, the clients that we work with come here on a visa-free permit into Serbia. We don't work with people that need visas coming into Serbia because that has to go through a government process. But if you're looking to obtain residency here, you need a lease agreement in place, and you cannot find that through an Airbnb platform or a bookings.com website. These listings that are on this website are geared towards tourism and geared for short-term rentals, and these owners will not issue you a lease agreement for that matter, and they will not give you residency, and they will not allow you to register your business if that's one of the avenues that you're looking to go down when obtaining residency into Serbia. So I'd highly suggest that you go down one of these other three websites that I just mentioned. Now, when I go to timing is everything, timing is essential, especially when it comes to the time of year that you're looking for. If you're looking to come between September and October, the demand is higher in those months simply because you have a lot of students and locals returning back to Serbia for their studies, for their works, or whatever. So there's a lot more competition and the price point can be a lot higher. And so you're a lot better off looking for months such as February or March, and those months when things are starting to die down, spring is coming into season, and people are looking to leave Serbia again, and there's going to be a lot more availability. Now, one thing to note is that there has been a lot of people coming in here from Russia, from Ukraine, And a lot of my Serbian people like to say that it's them that caused the increase in rents out here as well, which I highly like to push back on that one. It's not that they decided to come here and increase the rents, it's the people that are renting these places out that are accepting the higher rents that are increasing the rents. Because if my neighbor was able to get 800 euros for an apartment, well, so can I. I would say, hey, listen, if we want to keep the rents low, let's all accept those lower prices. But that's how it goes these days. People always are looking out for their best interest, and so if they can get a few hundred euros out of you, then that's how it's going to go, of course. And that brings me into my third point when it comes to looking for rentals, that you can always negotiate with the landlords for the most part. Some people are set in their tracks and they don't want to talk about negotiations. But here's a quick example. We had a client that recently came in here, a United States citizen. He was looking for a place that he wanted for him and his wife that are moving here. And so we went out and looked at a couple places, and one of the places was uh, a basement apartment in, or should I say, a ground level apartment in a house that was completely unfurnished to the point that it did not have a kitchen, appliances, or any of that. Now, one of the things that we came to an agreement with, which the landlords later on turned their decision back onto us and made it, not something that we wanted to move forward with, was, listen, we'll put the kitchen in, or we will deduct your rent off of you installing your own kitchen, but then you still have to furnish your own place. And our client said, listen, just because we're renting this place now and going to furnish it doesn't mean that furniture is going to work for the next place that we buy, because their whole idea is to stay in a rental for a certain amount of time till they get their bearings right, which I completely understand, and search the area around Serbia here and find a property that they can later on purchase and move into. And if you're buying furniture for an apartment that you're renting in at that time, does not mean that when you move into that house purchase that you're purchasing down the road, that furniture is going to work as well. But one of the things that came into play is that the client, once we said, yeah, we can do that, they said, no, we want 7 months up front because we want to use your rental money to install that said kitchen and put in the appliances, which I think is a completely wrong way of doing business in here. But that's why we are here to facilitate the negotiations between many of our clients and the landlords, so that it's even for both sides of the party. Now, the other thing that you also need to look out for when you're looking for rentals here in Serbia is that there are hidden costs. When you are seeing a rental price on a listing, that is strictly just the rent itself. That it does not include utilities such as water, electric, gas, internet is going to be on top of that as well. And so you have to ask, what are these costs associated on top of my rental? Because some places have informatica, which is going to cover your trash, your water, and so on and so forth. And that can range anywhere from a couple thousand dinars a month to 10, 15,000 dinars a month. And that's something that can make or break the decision as if you're going to move into that place and rent it out for a long-term rental, or if you're not. One of the other things that you have to make sure that you look into when you are looking for a rental, and we're seeing many, many of our clients asking for this, is if the landlords will accept pets. And the pets that usually come into effect are cats. And I understand cats are easily maintained animals, they're not like dogs, but many people do not want people to bring in their pets due to cats urinating all over the apartment, even though that they may be trained. And if you're moving a pet from one location to another and it's going through some adjustment period, you might have some mistakes, and the landlords will not accept that. And we've had one client that we've searched multiple places and they just simply did not want cats at all until they found one. The apartment wasn't exactly what they wanted, but they wanted the cats or accepted the cats into that lease agreement. And sometimes you have to accept the good with the bad, or, adjust what you're looking for based on what is important to you in life. So if your cats are important with that, they come to with you to Serbia, and you are limited to the amount of options that you have, you might have to adjust what square footage you're looking for, what part of town you're looking for, what area of Serbia you're moving to, or even potentially pay a higher rent due to the fact that you want to bring your pets in. And that's something that people are just simply going to have to deal with when it comes to moving here and bringing your pets with you. The next topic I'd like to touch on is the uh, secrets to buying property here in Serbia. Now, foreigners can buy property here in Serbia. That is a known fact. But there is a catch, is that you have to understand that there's a reciprocity law that is here in Serbia. And so if you and your husband or your significant other are coming here on the idea of purchasing property, and say you're one individual is from the United States and the other individual is from another country that does not have reciprocity, you both cannot purchase property. It's going to be only the one and not the other. And that is simply how it works here in Serbia. And there are some workarounds on that, but basically, that is how the law is written, and you're going to have to deal with that when it comes to that sense. Now, a lot of people come to Serbia and they look to move to Belgrade right away because that's what they see the most of in YouTube videos, for instance, or through other social media platforms. But you need to also look outside of Belgrade as well. Belgrade is the capital, and there's a lot of investors coming into Belgrade, which are increasing the prices, of course. And so you're going to want to look at places such as Novi Sad, places like Niš, Subotica, or other smaller towns around these cities that will afford, or that are affordable or within your price point. Now, you need to also understand that when it comes to purchasing things in these smaller towns, that you will not have all the amenities. But if your whole goal is to, be close to Belgrade, Novi Sad may be your best option, simply because Novi Sad has that high-speed rail system from Novi Sad to Belgrade, and you can get there within 30 minutes from by train. Now, the other thing that you might want to do is use a local agent. Now, we have a lot of local agents that we have vetted personally for our team. And eventually, at the end of this year, we will be opening up our own agency, or early next year, opening up our own agency, our own brokerage after that as well, and vetting our own agents as well. But when it comes to using other agents, either through the ones that we have vetted personally, or one that you find on your own, a lot of these agents are going to be taking a commission when it comes to finding your rental property, and the commission is going to be based on the amount of rent that you are going to pay. So a lot of them say your apartment that you find is 600 euros per month. They're going to want typically 50% of that first month's rental to be their commission. So you're going to have to pay 600 euros, so for your first and last month, which is going to be 1,200 euros, and then another 300 euros for the commission for the sales agent, which will bring it up to 1,500 euros, not to mention your utilities on top of that as well. Some agents will even bump that up to 100% of the first month's rent, and that's something you're simply going to have to deal with. But again, that does not mean that the agent will actually go with you to some of these online on-site visits. They're not going to vet your contracts that you're signing with the landlords themselves. That's something that we do here at Relocation Serbia. We will go out to with you, or even before you come to the country, will go and do live video walkthroughs of apartments here in Serbia that you're looking to rent when you do come here. We will also get one of our lawyers to review the lease agreement as well, to make sure that it's not only in your best interest, but as well in the best interest of the landlord. And one of the things that we recently seen in one of our clients' lease agreements that they're looking to rent was that if the tenant was 1 day late on the rent, that they would have to owe another 50% on top of that monthly rent, which I found absolutely ridiculous. I can understand if you're a whole month late or 2 weeks late that you have a penalty, but 1 day is something that is not something that is actually, realistic in in my mind, especially someone who has had real estate back in Canada and was a landlord and understands that sometimes people go through rough patches, especially if you're looking to move to a new country and you don't have accessible funds right off the bat. You don't have a bank account until you obtain temporary residency. A lot of these landlords only accept cash, and so cash is not readily accessible, which is something else that we offer here at Relocation Serbia, simply by our clients needing some short-term funds just to get them through that transition period. We have actually offered private lending as well to some of our clients, and clients that are looking to come in here just to bridge that gap and get them along that way so that they don't have to stress in that matter. And so you also have to understand that some agents will only give you a handful of options. Their customer service isn't the best. I'm not saying they're all like this, but I've been here in Serbia long enough to understand how they operate, and there are some good ones, there are some bad ones, and that's why we've vetted the ones that we work with. And they don't have all the access to all the rentals out there, but we have a good inventory on that matter. And then when it comes to purchasing real estate as well, uh, you're going to have to pay a commission as a buyer to the agent when you're purchasing a property. And this does not include your legal fees. This does not include your property transfer taxes. It does not include many other fees that are associated with that, such as notaries or translators and so on and so forth. Where when we do it, a lot of this is included into our price when it comes to our lawyers, because our lawyers will do all the closing processes when it comes to closing properties for our clients, and our commission is based on that. And when I do open up the real estate side of this business, I'm going to see about structuring it a little bit different. And another thing is that you have to also beware of the legal maze if you're not using us as a service, that just because you're paying someone to do your real estate transaction, that they're going to do all of it, right? You don't want to pay a lawyer that just puts it in your name and that's about it, and then you don't get the actual ownership papers, you don't actually get your title in your name. They did not vet the deed as well, and so you potentially could purchase an illegal property. And I'm not saying that people are out here to get you, but you're going to have some people here that are just going to say, yeah, transfer it over and be done with it, and they got their money, and then you have to deal with the legal ramifications down the road of, hey, listen, there was actually another plot that was supposed to be added to this property. It's actually not a legalized building. The water's not right. Whatever it might be, there are things that you have to look out for. So if this is something that you're worried about when it comes to moving to Serbia, and we can understand, because all our clients need some sort of affordable housing here in Serbia. It's the first step of moving here, and everything else coming in after that. And if that's something you're worried about and not wanting to worry about it, feel free to reach out to us at Relocation Serbia, and we're going to be helping you in the best way that we can, in the best interest for you as a client. Thanks for watching.